Good afternoon, everyone. This is Maria.
This is Tim.
Today is Thursday, March the 22nd, 2018. Welcome to our daily recap.
I may apologize to everybody in the start. May have some background noise on this. I'm in Virginia. It's 400 some people going metal detecting, and I'm in kind of a area you may hear some things. But before we get started talking about how bad today's market was, go ahead and let Maria give us those numbers.
Sure, absolutely. So yes, today was definitely a red day. The Dow closed the day down 724 points. Closing number on the Dow was 23,957. NASDAQ was down 178 points, closed at 7,166. The S&P was down 70 points, closed at 2,643.
And from what I could see on the QQQs after hours for the couple minutes I had to look like some things were continuing down after hours. Now, that can all turn around or get worse, and we don't know that. One of the things we got to ask a whole lot about today is, what is the market going to do tomorrow? What is the market going to do tomorrow? Listen, I don't know. Maria doesn't know. Nobody knows. And the people that were overly invested in the market today took a lot bigger hit. Somebody like me and Maria that try to stay 20 or 30% invested. It sucked, but we had enough cash to overcome that. So we survived it. Actually had a green day. And that's not to brag or say, look at us, but it's because you can see the direction the market was taking. Maria, you can go ahead and throw on that trade confirm you got on the Qs that really saved us today. And that's what we talked about when we had a webinar Friday night about overinvesting, especially in a market where you're just a tweet away, literally a tweet away from anything could happen. So, it sucks. It makes me feel bad. I mean, we had positions that we lost in today too, several of them that we just got killed in. And, it is what it is. We had enough cash to overcome because we could just go short the Qs, and we're actually better off than we were. But Maria, I'm going to give you a second to talk about that before we get into some tickers.
Absolutely. So guys, if you watched our video on Friday about Friday Night Live session, we talked a lot about cash being a position. And I'll say it again, cash is a position. It's okay to be cash. When you have cash, A, you don't risk losing it. B, if on days like this, you are able to use other strategies, whether it be scalping, shorting, whatever the case might be. There are multiple ways to play a day like this, which is what we did. So yes, when we woke up this morning, or when the market woke up, or when the market opened, we were down. You can see right here, we were down almost $2,000 on the day. Right, that's the opening P&L opening amount. But even with all of our losses, even with the hit that we took on our positions that we were holding, we were still able to end the day green. I know in the room there was a lot of questions about, oh no, what do we do? The Dow, the market's dropping, and no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. We really don't. We have no idea what's going to happen. Trade wars are a serious thing. The market does not like them at all. Those are words that the market just, they just don't like it. But I guess for me, what is important is to play what's in front of us, right? So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All we know is that the market's going to open, and it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And we'll use whatever strategies that we are comfortable with to play that market. That's all I wanted to say, Tim. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into a few tickers that, did well today, and some things that had some potential. One we had talked about, we'll get into that one in a few minutes, actually. GES, gas had a decent day. Had ER last night. Those that have had recent ERs tend to handle these fluctuations better than the ones that are way out. Then we'll talk about something with some flow. Maria, since I can't see what you're doing, you'll have to kind of guide me along, whether you've got charts or.
Sure, I do.
Stuff.
I have a chart up. It looks like they beat. EPS, beat on rev, and they guided up. So this is actually one of the few tickers that was green today. A very, very nice day there. So definitely one to keep an eye on for continuation.
Maria, another one I wanted you to look at that we've seen some flow in yesterday. A little bit of sneaky flow, OMER.
Yep, it's right here. We did have flow on it. Going back a few days actually. And there was a headline. Let me get that pulled up right here. OMER surges 40% after government spending bill extends pass-through status. So that will benefit their eye treatment drug. So definitely a really good day for OMER. There was flow ahead of it. We actually talked about it in the room yesterday. Tim, if you remember, I, for some reason, had it stuck in my head that this was not the company that it was. So yeah, we saw the flow. We talked about it yesterday. No one in the room played it from what I know, but it definitely, those calls probably paid off very nicely.
Those paid off very nicely. And another one, Pandora, that we talked about as well yesterday, because that one had some stuff above the ask.
Yes, yep, absolutely, it did. Here is the flow going back to the first or second. We've seen a bunch of flow on Pandora. Even yesterday, if we're looking just at yesterday above the ask, a lot of ask side calls have come through. They were upgraded today by Raymond James, I believe. Yeah, here it is. Upgraded to a strong buy from market perform. I'm pretty sure they were given an $8 price target. That's correct. And it says analyst Justin Patterson is positive on Pandora's acquisition of AdsWiz. So Pandora is definitely one we want to keep an eye on.
You know, one I had seen today when I didn't get to see much of the market today, TLGT. I had wrote down that I wanted you to pull up as well.
So TLGT actually had a really good day. I'll pull up a weekly here in just a second. The last news that I have on this was from yesterday. And here's that headline. There's FDA approval of an ointment. And let me grab the weekly on it so you can take a look at it. So here's the week. Really nice consolidation through here. It popped yesterday morning, it came back down, held that level of support, started to curl up just a little bit. Today, it actually made its move, almost like a delayed reaction, kind of. The news came out yesterday. It actually sold off, but held support. And today it made a move. So I'm definitely watching this one for continuation.
Another one I wanted you to pull up, AMPE.
Let's see if they've done. I had somebody in the room actually ask me to take a look at this one today. And it actually had a good day. Did not have recent news on it, but let's see here. You know, broke that previous resistance from a couple days back. Hit a high of 293. Held this support level towards the close, even throughout, you know, what the market was doing all day. So there's a possibility for continuation. I do want to see this hold. I would say probably above 270. Well, I'm going to use this level right here. About, let's say, 278 to 281 or so. That's where ideally, again, if the world was perfect, that's where I would want it to hold.
Also, NIHD, Maria. Will you pull up NIHD? It's one I believe we talked about it yesterday. Maybe it was Tuesday.
We talked about it not yesterday, day before. And actually, Tim, I have to apologize because yesterday you asked me if we wanted to bring it up on yesterday's recap. And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I like how it sold off at the end of, you know, after it hit that high yesterday. It did. And today it made a move back up. Really nice cup and handle formation over the last 2 days. I definitely want to see what this does.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on NIHD. You know, some more of the low floats that had got a lot of attention we've been talking about too as well. ECYT, I thought that held up remarkably well for today's market. Um,
It did. Almost, well, not quite a true double top kind of through here, but if you look at this wick, I like where it tried to go, I guess, and is what I'm trying to say. And then this level of support today, right here where my cursor or crosshairs are kind of circling, if you look over to the left of the screen, you can see that it's within that range of support down through here on the left hand
and
side.
it's still well above those 3 days that I kept saying, watch it, watch it, watch it as well.
Yes, it is. It
So,
definitely is.
and I still don't think it's done. Amy, how did Amy do today? I have not had a chance to look at her. Hopefully everything's still going well with her.
Amy still looks good to me. She was actually green by a penny today, held support on the weekly. But
Nice.
yeah, I was happy with Amy's performance today.
Very good. We talked yesterday, last 2 days, also about AKER, and it's what's crazy is you'll see, and I've noticed this. I've been doing this over 20 years. A lot of times you'll see some of the low float or penny stocks, people like to call them whatever, hold up better than your Nasdaq stocks. So, yeah, pull up AKER as well.
So look at this. I mean, another day of just straight consolidation or channeling. What I like about this is that yesterday's resistance became today's support. So yes, it was barely, I mean, and not a huge move up on the day, but I'm really happy with yesterday's resistance, at least end of day resistance, being today's new support. So I want to see if it's going to continue this pattern or, make a
Um,
move.
I agree. And ZSAN, another one I keep saying, it's you haven't heard the end of ZSAN. It jumped up there today as well. Um, have a look at that one.
So ZSAN did spike, and again, as with a lot of the other low float ones that we've talked about, it held a prior level of support, and it did not sell off nearly as severely as some of the other stocks out there.
Yeah, I mean that was a nice bike, and it was kind of later in the day, I believe. So let's
Actually,
get to
that
some
spike
bigger
was
triggers.
first thing in the morning.
Was
So
it
it
first
spiked
thing?
first thing in the morning. Yeah,
A few things that I have on my radar that I want to buy. Yes, I will buy on down markets. Actually, I prefer to. I don't like chasing things at highs, and I like to have things come down to me. QQQ, we had talked about that. I mean, you had some great shorts, not just in the account that we share, but just your own personal accounts. And after hours, that is definitely continuing to sell off. I am back in front of a computer, so
I think it's sitting at low a day right now. Actually, well, low of actually the day and after hours.
yeah. So we'll be keeping our eyes on all these things tomorrow. And listen, if it looks weak, we'll give it a few minutes to get some confirmation. And because I know today, actually people actually played it long a couple times, uh, and then
I
short.
did.
So
I did
you
myself.
did,
Yeah,
several of us did, and SPY and IWM. IWM was actually holding off up the best today, and I know some people got some pretty juicy plays on that one a couple times as well.
absolutely. IWM, nice morning move. I caught a little bit of the long here. I caught this short through here, played it long through here, and then I sat out for this part, but I shorted it end of day. So I caught not all of this drop, but I did catch most of it.
And Boeing, day 7 of winning trades on Boeing. Good job, Tech Money. We do know a few people played that as well. That one I was happy about.
Boeing was a great play. And again, this is day 7. Tech Money has this nailed, I mean, just dialed in. We picked it up, in, I believe, through here, held it through here, and sold it pretty much high a day. So, I mean, we obviously we didn't get the actual, or not high a day at this top. It wasn't high a day, but at this top, almost at this top.
That was a good play. Um, so we'll keep an eye on that one tomorrow because I know he said we're doing at least 9 days of Boeing, so he's got 2 days left. Facebook, there were some plays early out of the gate on it, and everybody was getting excited about Facebook again, and the market just did not cooperate.
Facebook was actually my first play of the day. It was the first thing I called this morning. We caught this run up through here, didn't short it back down. Probably should have. We did not, or at least I did not. There may have been people in the room that did, but we definitely played this morning move.
Well, and speaking of morning moves, Elon's package that got approved yesterday. I know that you played that as well.
Yeah.
Zeke played it. He was in the room where we was laughing about this because he did like Tesla like 99 times. Kept saying Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. I said, well, Zeke has 99 problems and Tesla isn't one of them. So I don't know how he played it later in the day, but I know for sure that him and a few
I'll
people
look for
got
that
some
one.
nice trades off him at the beginning.
And so he called the long and he called the short, and that was a gorgeous, gorgeous call by him. I mean, like it's just right on the money. Like it was a beautiful call. So awesome job, Zach. There was quite a few people in the room that profited off of that, both of those calls, including me. We all played it together.
Nvidia, I mean, that actually, at least the first half of the day, and I was driving the second half, so I didn't get to see Nvidia, but actually held up pretty well for the most part, and then I'm sure as everything else probably sold off. So
It closed at 241.85. It's at 240 and a penny after hours. Not horrible for Nvidia. Hit a high of the high of the day was 247.88. We did play it in the room. We scalped it both ways, short and then long. Um, and there were some people that played it back short again. But definitely, there are people still holding some longer term calls on Nvidia. And I think
actually,
I have enough
we're one
time.
of them.
Yeah, we are. We are holding calls on Nvidia. And I'll tell you the reason why we're holding. Next week is Nvidia's Investor Day. And um, last year, Nvidia had a really nice move after their Investor Day. So we got into those calls early, and we are holding those. And we also have calls for their upcoming conference. So, and again, those are small positions. They're not huge positions. If anything, actually, we're on one of those calls, I'm still green. The other one, I'm actually back to even on. But one of those calls is still, or one of those strikes is still green, strikes and expirations. So we are holding on to NVIDIA.
Well, and if it holds, what was it, Tuesday's low? I believe, no, Monday, I can't remember. It got down in the 237 range. So hopefully we hold that. Um, maybe even lower.
Nope, 237 on the dot. You're right. You got it. Or it says
So
230. Yeah,
hopefully we hold
237
that
and
low.
change.
So yes, we do still own some Nvidia. Another one we bought today, AMD. There were some rumors going around about them and Microsoft.
This was, I'll pull up the news on it. There was, let me look it up today. 1 minute. So we did pick some up. The news, there was chatter about, I don't think it was it Microsoft? I don't think it was Microsoft.
No, it's
Not
Microsoft.
checking. Oh, perfect. So, yeah, definitely some chatter there.
We actually picked up a couple 13s for, I believe it was May. So plenty of time on them. Did not want to see that break 11, but it is what it
And
is.
here's the headline: AMD active on speculation of data center contract win.
Yeah.
So there was I believe it was a large contract that there was some chatter about.
Another one. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. Amazon, I did not even look up, but I do want to see that. Um,
Amazon, there were several people in the room that played it. They caught a couple of scalps on it. Nothing huge, but they did catch some plays on it. Amazon in after hours hit a low of 15.18. If we look back, we might have to go to a year. I'm looking for it. If it breaks any lower, I'm looking for it to find support around, let's see, actually, let me go back to the one day. It's actually after hours that I actually broke the level of support that I was looking for. So definitely want to keep an eye on this to see where it tries to turn around. If it hit that 15.18 after hours and it opens up down below there, then I want to see if it will turn around probably around 14.50 or so. That nice even number is where I'd want to see it try to bounce.
Apple actually today, at one point I was driving, but the room got all excited because Apple was just ripping market while the market was down. I did not get to see. When I say ripping, everybody was. Uh, yeah. So for
Oh,
for
Apple.
Apple lately, the way Apple's been trading, Apple was ripping, right? So people were
So
getting excited about that again, which we wanted Apple to do some leading today, but geez, everything's just getting killed after hours. I mean, this is depressing me while I'm doing this webinar.
well, Apple hit a high today of 172.68, and we actually picked up some 175s for April to play. I ended up selling mine. They were green by like $30. I sold them just because I just didn't have a good feeling personally, and I wanted to. I just didn't want to hold too much. So I did go ahead and I sold my Apple, got out green. After hours low is 167.55. Tim, if I remember correctly, we're looking for it to try to find some support around 165.
Yeah, I believe that's the magic number on that one. Booking dot yeah. I know Namish played it as well as
Wyatt, I
going
played
blank.
it. Yep.
Wyatt, thank you. And Barber, yeah. So Wyatt and Namish were actually talking about that pre-market. They had some 35-cent calls that actually, or they bought those today. I think they had 35, 40-cent averages, and best I know they got out around 110. Um,
Yep.
so there you go. That was a good play. Good call, Tech Money and Wyatt. Barber and a few more got in on that. And speaking of that, Carrie Marie got in on that Boeing call today. So several people got on those Boeing calls. So that was good. When we've talked about the last 2 days, Box, you found off the flow. I believe it was Tuesday. Continued to have flow yesterday, and was setting up really, really nice today. Um, so yeah, Box. I know we are still in Box, and at one point we were up over 100% on those. And heck, wow, that appears to at least.
I mean, it was pretty. It closed green on the day. After hours, it's at sitting at 23.08. The high of the day was 23.21. One of the few, again, that was green, it actually held
Yeah,
nicely,
so that's
even,
impressive.
really nice.
And again, that was a flow play. That was a straight flow play. Those above the ask that you had seen on Tuesday, and you nailed it. So for that to be doing so well in this market, definitely keep your eyes on that one. Um, CMG, the burrito factory. So uh,
It
how'd that one do? We always make fun of
was green.
on red days. Yeah, on red days by CMG. I don't know why that is. I really don't know why that is. I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
people are getting
double check.
depressed and going and getting food poisoning or what's going on over there, but red days
So
by CMG.
the today the news, the only news that I saw after hours is that they're going to announce their first quarter 2018 results, or so their earnings will be on April 25th. That's the only news that I had on Chipotle.
We'll take it. Baba broke my heart. For some reason, and we were green in those calls at one point and should have took them. That is just a straight fucking catastrophe. Excuse my language. I'm sorry if you've got kids around, but it's one of those days where just damn, you know. Trade war with China, um, which I'm not so sure how it affects Baba all that much, but apparently, I guess looking at this chart, I don't know if this is straight market sentiment or because it's Asia company. But yeah, Baba. So we did cut those. We cut those for about a 75% loss, maybe 80%. I don't know. It was pretty huge. One of the few things that we actually did go ahead and sell today. But yeah, it was just time to cut it. And four six, we had the 200 strikes. Could it make it back? Sure, absolutely. Could it make it back? And what we paid for it? Probably not at this point. So we did go ahead and cut Baba. One of my favorite companies, though. I mean, I got to say that one of my favorite companies because they're just literally kicking ass, but their share price doesn't always reflect it. So keep an eye on that one. Square held up good today. Square and PayPal. I want you to pull up both those, Maria, because PayPal is going to get in a range. It looks like that I've been waiting for, and should turn on any market.
Up movement. Yeah, it is now under 80, which is where you wanted to buy it. So it
I want it under
ended the
80.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, preferably in the 78s, which looks like I've got it right where I want it. So the problem I had is today it was a travel day, and tomorrow this metal detecting trip I'm on, I won't get to buy this till Monday. But if you see it, get in that right range and it stays there, go ahead and pick some up for us if you don't mind. And me and Maria do have a joint account. Those of y'all that followed us, January 1st, we did a little joint venture together, just to see how it would work out. And so far, so good. So yeah, Maria, put that on the buy list as well. Square, how did that end up? Actually, I think it held up pretty well.
Square is not bad actually. After hours, it hit a low of 54.09. Pre-market was the high 56.90. Intraday, I think the opening price is probably the high around 56.78, or I'm sorry, 56.64. I'm sorry, where is my cursor? 56 and change. So definitely it's down on the day, still hanging out above 50, which I like. Let me look at the year. I would prefer that it hold 50 or higher. If it wants to consolidate above 50, I'd be okay with that. My preference obviously would be higher than that, which would be 53 or so. But if it were to hang out above 50, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and that one, the way it's been moving, I definitely want to keep Square on the radar. I think we had some unusual activity in a couple of stocks today too that I wanted you to bring up. Don't have that in front of me. I apologize.
So we saw some, the flow wasn't, at least from what I could tell, there wasn't a bunch of flow that jumped out at me and said, "Buy me now." Obviously, probably, we just didn't have that kind of flow. We did see a little bit of unusual flow in ARNC, our Arconic. What's interesting about this is that, they were buying into strength, or I'm sorry, into weakness, not into strength. They were buying into weakness, and this is the second day this week that they are doing this. Now, there is a company presentation at the RIMS 2018 annual conference in May. And according to the last article, and I'll get that pulled up, that could be what they're trying to play. Also, there's earnings late May or late April. So again, just repeat a second day of active call buying on Arconic. The Other one was ETP, Energy Transfer Partners. So again, today, call volume above normal, directionally bullish. 3 times expected implied volatility up over a point to 30.65%. Your April 17 and June 17 calls were the most active. The put call ratio is at 0.09 and earnings are not expected until May 2nd. So definitely one to keep an eye on. There's been an awful lot of buying over actually the past couple of weeks on this particular stock. So we will keep an eye on this one.
You know, one I got my butt kicked in today, and fortunately for us, I was complaining yesterday that we sold it too soon. Today, I'm just like, thank God we're out of it. But I bought Cat, about the 155s for April, like 302, and ended up selling them for like 250, 260. I can't remember. It was a small position, but I tried to get cute. So they're not all winners. I mean, listen, we lost on Baba. We're down on Nvidia, at least in the joint account. Definitely not all winners, but yeah, Cat, it's crazy. John Deere, that's another one definitely on the buy list. So everybody, I am adding that. We bought. I'll go ahead and let you pull up John Deere actually.
Yeah, let me pull up the flow first because there was actually flow on Deer today, if I remember correctly. So these sweeps came in early this morning, right after the open, 9:46 and 9:47. They were buying the June 160s. And let me get the chart pulled up. It made a really nice move. It hit 156 and change before selling off.
That one's
So
definitely. And after hours, wow.
down to
So
150. That's the after hours low.
a lot of flow in John Deere. So that one I want to keep my eye on. Twitter, we did buy Twitter yesterday. We still own Twitter. Talk about timing. But I don't think Twitter, unless after hours is getting crushed, thought it held the day pretty well.
It's down after hours, but so it's not horrible. I mean, it's at 30.74 is the low. After hours, where that's where it closed after hours. Is that the low? Not too horrible. We're holding 33s for April. Really small position, nothing big. So I mean, yeah, it's down, but it did hold the day fairly well. Granted, it's down a little bit more after hours, but we'll see what happens with it tomorrow.
Yeah, and Facebook's on that buy list. Visa, I want to hit Visa real quick as well, because Visa is one of the favorites to make money in the room on down days. And we do own a little Visa that we were green in until today. It's Visa, we're red on that one now. We've actually got a couple strikes. We got 125s for April, and we have 140s, I believe, for June. I think it's June. I'd have to go look. Worry about
It
that
is.
later.
It's June.
The Visa, yeah, Visa under, in that 117, 16, 116, 117 range has been a gift a couple times. Microsoft as well, going back on the buy list. And we do still own some Microsoft too as well, 9250s for April. If we get this one, anytime we've got to buy Microsoft under 90, we have banked on it. This may be the time we don't. Just historically, we buy that one. I think we've got it even 85 here in the last couple of months low. So keep an eye on that one. Microsoft, I'm gonna definitely put on the buy list. Visa to add to it. That's one because listen, I don't know what's going on with us in China, but people are still using their Visa cards. So
That's true.
definitely keep an eye on those as well. So that's kind of my buy list: Square, PayPal, Visa. God, it looks like there's some kind of financial something to all those three. Microsoft, and yeah, you can see. I can see right here where we bought the last two times on Microsoft. Well, actually, the last time we bought was probably 4 or 5 days ago. It's last Monday or last Friday. I can't remember. Actually, I think it was last Friday. I don't know, or maybe it was Monday. I can't keep my days straight these days. But we bought the 9250s, and we had bought at the money. So this one, um, you know, when the market does turn, and at some point it always turns. I don't know if that's tomorrow or next week. I'm not in any hurry to buy anything or to add anything serious on long-term positions. If anything, we'll buy a couple contracts, start a position, and go from there. And we can always add or, whatever we want, because we do like to stay, mostly cash. Cash is king, especially in these kind of markets. So a couple things we're watching there, or at least I'm watching. So
Those are all on my list as well. So definitely we're keeping an eye on all of them to see, and we will buy when we see that the market has found a little bit of stability and looks like it might be ready to turn. And we will keep you guys updated on that.
that's what I bought earlier. I mean, I do realize it's a Chinese company. I'm just not so sure why it's getting so impacted by this whole thing, unless, like I say, it's just market sentiment. Baba is one of my favorites, so if that gets to the right price, I'll take another shot at that one too. Um, but anyway, Maria, I don't know if there's anything on the
Yeah,
after hour
let's hit the after
scanner.
hour scanner. So tops is actually moving after hours. Let's look at that. Or last, actually, let me rewind. Last I saw it, it was moving. So tops is sitting at, yeah, it made a little bit of a move. Closing price was 26 cents, 3.5 million shares. Let me look at the news on it. I think there was a headline that came out as soon as it pops up. Or, oh, I'm sorry, I have options news selected. That could be the problem. Here we go. And let's go to tops. They announced changes, or they announced change in capital raising strategy. That's why they are running. They said that they do not intend to conduct any offerings that include variable priced securities. They do not intend to issue any further shares under the equity line offering registered on the company's Form F3. So it also actually says that there are certain individuals listed here, including the president, CEO, and director of the company, will not convert any of its 1.2 million warrants pursuant to a standstill agreement with the company. So,
I've heard similar things out of drives before. It's like,
yes.
hey, we're going to give y'all a dividend, and the next day we're doing an offering to pay the dividend. So I don't know. It's shipping. Um, Proceed at your own risk. Caveat emptor. So
So what's
yeah,
actually
we'll see.
what's interesting about this is that, um, obviously, and I don't know the details. All I'm looking at what's in front of me right now. I'd have to do a little bit more digging. What the key sentence here, right here, it does not intend to issue any further shares under the equity line offering registered on the company's Form F3, pursuant to the purchase agreement dated December 11th, 2017. To me, that sounds like it's talking about something specific. I don't know if that means that they're not planning on doing any offerings overall, or if there is something within this equity line offering thing that it's related to. So definitely do your DD. I will actually do a little bit of digging on my own as well and see what I come up with. So Tops is moving after hours. Um, if you're gonna play it, please be careful with it. Let's see, Nike actually did really well, right? Tim, you were probably driving at the time, but Nike did beat. They are up nicely, holding those gains after hours. So really
You
nice
know,
pop on Nike.
we talked about this yesterday, that it'll do one thing after it comes out, and then do another thing on the call.
Yep, you're absolutely
You know,
correct.
and here's Nike. MU had ER today too. Let's go ahead and hit MU, and probably wrap this thing up. I know everybody's had a busy
Absolutely.
day and they're worried about a Friday. So,
So MU dropped initially on a beat and a raise. So they beat the top line, beat the bottom line. They raised guidance. They had a bunch of other pluses that came out of their ER. Um, they dropped, they popped back up, hit about 59 and change or 59-ish. Closed the after hour session at 58.66, or what does that say? 56.66. I apologize. 56.66 is where it closed. The after hour session. This is definitely one that I'll keep on watch. I want to see what it does. I want to see if it follows the old MU pattern and just sells off, or if it actually tries to make a run.
and if it does sell off, I'll be a buyer of it. That's for sure. I'm going to do some
Absolutely.
digging on this tonight when I get a chance. But this is another reason, and I know a guy had asked you last time on StockTwits, what should I do with MU? And you're like, personally, I don't like to hold through ER. Um,
Yeah,
and this is why we don't like to hold through ER. Not that we don't never do it. We do it. We get burned. Hence why we don't like to do it often. My
exactly.
two favorite companies got me this year, Visa and Walmart, on holding through ER. So, we lose too. So anyway, that's really all I had, Marie, unless you got anything else you wanted to add. Just everybody, before I say that, be careful tomorrow. We have no idea what's going to go on with us in China or what Trump's going to tweet. I think somebody had told me that China said we won't back down, fuck off. And, Trump is about the same way. So when you get two hard-headed guys, you got an emperor over there and I want to be emperor here. No, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just making a comment. But you got two stubborn people um, going against each other. One thing I will say is Trump loves the stock market. I don't know. So we'll see what happens.
We will, guys. And no, I don't have anything else for you guys today. Um, I tell the room this all the time. You have to trade your chart. There's no need to panic sell. Sell if your stops hit, or if you're at your max loss, absolutely go ahead and sell. If your chart tells you to sell, then sell. But there's no reason, to panic sell, which is different from looking at your chart and saying, okay, this chart is now busted. I need out. Or I'm at my max loss. I can't take more of a loss on this. I've got to get out. That's different. So please, stay calm. We say that a lot in the room. Stay calm. Let things shake out. Respect your lines, respect your stops. Don't panic sell. Play your chart. That's what we are telling our members, and that's what we will tell you. The market's going to do what it's going to do. The only thing as traders that we can do is play what's in front of us. So,
Well,
again,
and
go ahead.
absolutely. And cash is the position.
Yep.
Maria said it. Wall Street Jesus said it recently too. I heard him say the
Yep.
same thing. Yes, I listen to Wall Street Jesus because I think the guy's a
I do
legend.
too. He's awesome.
Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, he has a room too, and we kind of all do the same thing. But shit, the guy's a legend. I'm not ashamed to say I listen to Wall Street
I'm not either. I
whatsoever.
love his Saturday webinars. They're awesome.
All right. Yeah. So
So,
cash is a position, and we keep enough to where we can always go short because of you never know what's going to happen. So these people were selling 80% of their portfolio or 100%. We had a guy today. He probably quit trading because he was in 100% tied up in the market.
positions. Yeah.
100%. I love the guy. We've tried to tell everybody over and over, especially the last couple of weeks, because things are just seeming weird. Listen, guys, it doesn't hurt to have cash. You don't have to be fully invested, by any means. And
Yeah.
thank God we stick to that rule too, because it pulled us out of the hole today. We actually had a green day on a very red day, probably in the top, 3 or 4 red days of this year, or in the last year and a half, as far as that goes, probably. So,
Yeah. No, I agree.
cash is king. And like I say, this isn't. I'm not saying we're green. Hey, look at us. We're badass. Look, we took losses in a lot of shit today. Fortunately, she followed the trend on some cues and made up for it. So,
Let me
not that
I'll
works
pull
every
that
time.
back up just so you guys can see that again. We definitely took losses. I mean, look at how many, there's one, two. This is, since the open, three, four, five, six, seven. just from the letters M through U are red. And we have positions in A through M as well.
That's
So,
right.
you know, it's not like these are our only positions. We have positions that are red.
Right.
We're feeling that red too. However, in
Trust
similar
me.
value, like I'm really good at jumping in and scalping these kind of markets. This is probably my favorite kind of market. I love it. Like I'll find a way to trade what's in front of me. Absolutely. I'm good at doing that. I'm good at staying versatile, but I really, really like having volatility. So for me, it wasn't, oh God, what do I do with my positions? It was like, okay, those are red. Let me just see what I can do with the balance total. And I just focused on the cues on SPY, IWM. I'm not SPY in this account, but um, I focused on the indices that I knew would give me moves that I could play with a little bit more size and it not be too expensive, if that makes sense. So there is a way to play every kind of market. I know that, 750 points down on the Dow is not, it doesn't feel very warm and fuzzy at all. Um, I'll tell you what I told our room today. The market is cyclical. It goes down, it goes up. Play what's in front of you. That's our job as traders is to play what's in front of us.
Right.
And
And
just
that's the
like,
important thing here is to
yep,
realize we're traders, not investors.
exactly.
Right.
And like Tim said, cash is king. Cash is a position. I'll say it again. I said it at the beginning of the webinar. I'll say it again. Cash is a position. There's nothing wrong with being cash. There's nothing wrong with having only a small amount invested in the market.
Well, I
So,
know you showed this
go
count
ahead,
earlier
Tim.
in the week, and it was at 19.3.
Yeah,
So even with the two big red days, we went from 19.3 to 20, almost 21 in this account. And it was really the redness. So, and yes, we should have probably sold a couple of those positions, but we want to show y'all we're not perfect. And, you know, some of those we probably should have sold, but she actually um, wasn't as much concentrating on selling positions as making up losses, which I'm very proud of. Good job.
thank you, thank you. So guys, again, tomorrow, good luck. Please stay green, stay calm, stay patient, let the market shake out and show you the direction, play the direction you're in. If you are too long in positions, if you have a bunch of positions, it might be a good time or a good idea this weekend to think about whether or not you want to not pull yourself completely out of the market, especially if you aren't at your max losses, but you may want to think about how you want to approach the rest of the year. But other than that, that's all I have. We hope you have a great evening. We will see you tomorrow. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.